So now we are going to use some plugins to customize our Vim editor a little bit more. And for that purpose, for customizing our Vim editor using some plugins, we are going to use a plugin installer. I don't know whether it is called that or not, called as Vim-plug. So there are many different plugin installers, but I prefer this one. Now let me show you this thing called that's by junegunn, called Vim-plug. So I'll provide the necessary links in all these links in the description. So under installation we can see that for Vim, NeoVim is also a Vim like text-based text editor. So if you are using that, you can use this command to install what NeoVim, sorry, junegunn's Vim-plug. Now I'm going to just copy this command. What it is doing is it's doing curl, and for using curl, it's downloading the contents of located at this URL, for example, and then it's saving it in the home directory of the user within and creating a directory if it doesn't exist called .vim. Within that, auto load, and within that it's saving the contents of this URL, this thing, in plug.vim file. So let's copy this and then let's just paste it using Ctrl+Shift+V, and it downloaded it. Let me just look up. So we can see there's a folder created called .vim. Let me go into that folder. You can see a folder or directory called autoload, and there's a plug.vim thing. Let me go back to home and let's go back into the vimrc. So what we're going to do here is let me make a line like this. Let me make a line like this, and then wait a minute. Then okay, this is not properly visible. Let me set the background. Wait a minute. Let me set background is equal to dark. Okay, it's visible now. Let me append that in this thing also. Background equals dark. Okay, and next time I open it, okay, you can do that too if you want. So let me just provide a comment here called as maybe vim-plugins. So how we do it is given here. So we have to use a call plug begin statement, and it has to be ended with a call plug hashtag end statement function maybe, and then using plug keyword, maybe we are going to provide the name or the location of the directory of the resource wherever it is of the plugin. So let me just call plug hashtag begin. All that has to be done in what, vimrc, and call plug hashtag end. Okay, and in between we are going to provide the plugin. So going here, the first plugin that I'm going to use is called a basic plugin. I mean there are many plugins out there, and depending upon your requirements you can use anyone. There are many resources you can look up on the YouTube, on the web. You can search for many things, how to customize Vim, what are plugins what all plugins you should use. So I'm just going to talk about 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 maybe. The first plugin we are going to talk about is called Vim Airline, which provides a status bar like thing. So I just copied it and pasted it here. I'll call it status bar, give it a comment, and now if I write in quit out of here and open it again, nothing happens. What is says that it would provide us a status bar similar to that, customizable, something like that. So what we are going to do is we are going to do colon then plug install, and it's case sensitive, and when I do plug install and hit enter, something like this opened up and it downloaded and says finishing done, and we can see a similar thing happening here. A somewhat similar effect can be seen here when they write plug install enter. Okay, so now let me quit, just do :q and q out of here too. Now when I open it, we can see a status bar, kind of status bar that has appeared here, and it gives us what is the mode. If I do I insert mode, if I select it, it goes into visual mode. If I do escape, we are in the normal mode. So that's good. Let's go to the next, this one called NERDtree. I'm going to just copy this much, this plugin, for this plugin, and let's paste it here as well. Okay, let me first tell you what that thing does. So what NERDtree does is it provides you an interface, something like this. Let me open it up. And it helps you to open files from being within. While you are working in Vim, you don't have to go out, exit out of there, and then open files. You can just use this thing, this plugin. So let's go back and let me do PlugInstall once again by going out and coming in Vim. It's it downloaded it, and let me, I think it should work. If I do NERDtree, okay, so it's case sensitive again. If I just do NERDtree and enter, this thing just opened up. Okay, and the cursor is there right now. If I press here, the cursor is here. If I, yeah, okay, you get that. If I do, it says press question mark for help. So when I did that, there are many things it is saying. Let's search with a / for hidden, because I was not able to see the hidden files there. And it says for hidden we have to maybe press capital I, basically shift I. When I press the question mark once again, it goes away. If I do shift I now, you can see the hidden files as well, and you might not be able to see these arrow things right here. You might not be able to see them if you don't have a nerd font installed. If you might have seen the installation of Arch Linux, somewhere in this series I have installed a Fira code, sorry, a node font, maybe I have installed that, or if I haven't, maybe I have. So you should see it, and that helps. This effect can be achieved doing that. If you go on a particular folder like config, we can see many other. I go to DWM. There are many files. For example, if I want to open a particular file, for example this config.h, if I do an enter, it will open up that file and replacing this currently opened file, this one. But I don't want to do that, so I can open it in a new tab, but just by pressing T on the particular file wherever my cursor is. So if I do T, it opened up in the new tab. The current tab is this one. Go back, this one is the tab. I can navigate by using the mouse, or I can just use GT to switch tabs. Now for example, if I open up this C file, it's opened up in the second tab. If I do GT, again GT, so you can see it's moving sequentially, like 1 2 3 1 2 3, like that. So if I wanted to go to, for example, the third tab right now, what I would do is I'll press 3 then GT. So I'll go to the third tab, I do 1 GT, I'll go to the first tab. So it's as simple as that. Let's close this NERDtree thing using Q, and we'll create later. Let me close these files too. /q, sorry, :q, and we'll create a toggle thing for NERDtree later. We'll make a mapping, keyboard mapping for that. Let's move to the next. What is this? Top. Okay, TPOP, the commentary thing. Okay, so what this helps us to achieve is, okay, let me just, what is this helps to achieve is we can comment a line using some key bindings, you can say. Yeah, they are key bindings, and this is a kind of, you can say, type of, not intelligent, but but it detects what kind of file it is, and depending upon the type of the file, it provides the, what do you say, comments. So let me just install this plugin with plug install, and it has done that. Now let me just open up for example a random, let's do a random C file maybe. Yeah, and since syntax is on, so it's detecting whatever we are doing. If I do this now and do something like printf, and I type hello US, and then for example there is no return, but for example if I write return, now what that comment thing does is wherever my cursor is, on whichever line it is, on whichever column it is, for example, it will create a, what do we say, first of all let me quit out of here and go in there once again. Okay, I was just testing something, no problem. It will create it will help me make that particular line, on whichever line my cursor is, it will help me make that particular line a comment. How? Let me show you. If I do gcc, it converted that into a comment, and we can see that it's the proper comment, the proper convention used in, the proper syntax used in C files and C++ files for commenting. Now just to show what I'm trying to say, let's do a Python file, for example, and let's say print hello again. If I do hello, and then I mean you can do exit 0, but it automatically exits. Now if I want to comment this line, I'll do gcc, and we can see this is the proper syntax for commenting a line in Python. So what I was trying to say is, it detects the file type, and then depending upon that comments the line. So what would you do if you want to comment, for example, multiple lines? Let me just do something, for example anything. And if I want to comment multiple lines, one way is to go to every line and do gcc, and that wouldn't work when you are in insert mode. As you can see, I'm in insert mode right now. I have to go out using escape, then I'm in normal mode, and then I type gcc to comment line. To uncomment, okay, I didn't tell you to uncomment it. Once again, I can again type gcc, and kind of a toggle thing. When you type gcc, it will comment it. Again gcc, it will uncomment it. For multiple lines, what you can do is you can select those all like this using mouse, and you can just type gc, it commented it. For undoing a particular thing that you just did, you can do u, yes, and such like that. So you can either select it like that, or using mouse, or you can just in normal mode type v to go into the visual mode, and I'll just hit the down arrow. It will automatically select those things for me, the forward arrow. And now if I go back to normal and do gcc, okay, I unselected those things. Okay, wait a minute, go to normal. Now if I don't have to go back to normal, being invisible, I just do gc, the same thing is done. If I do u, things have been undone. Let me just remove these. Okay, so it's removed. Now let's go back to the vimrc, our configuration file. So this was the commentary thing. The next thing, okay, this one is thing called Conqueror of Completion, COC. Generally used in NVim. People, I mean, it depends. It might work for you or it might not. Most of the time that I use this thing, it worked for me. So it's generally for NVim, as can be seen from its extension, but it works on Vim as well, as I have seen. So you might, if it doesn't work and you want this, you can want this plugin, and if it doesn't work on Vim, you can use nvim, or maybe there might be some alternatives to coc.nvim for Vim as well. So if it doesn't work, you can search those up. Okay, let me copy this. Wait, Control C, and okay, just let's paste those things, and let me comment for completion, automation, COC, automation, something like that. So let's do plug install plug install, and this will install the, it's installing, right? This will install that plugin. It's taking a little bit of time, and it's done now. Let me quit out of here, and now it's not going to work. Now let me just open any vimrc, for example. We can see a message. It says coc.nvim build /index.js not found. Please install dependencies and compile coc.nvim by yarn install, and press enter to continue. When I press enter, I'm inside here, and in the base we can see some error message, index.js not found. So for that, what we have to do is, for example, if you're on a WS system, you just have to do sudo apt install node.js and npm, and if you are not, I mean, do use whatever package manager it is for you. That it is pacman for me, as I'm using Arch Linux. So when I do that, provided my password, sorry, it's not install, I'm really sorry, it's capital S for pacman, and it says reinstalling. Okay. So it has reinstalled the node.js and npm. So now what we have to do is, we have to go to the, you might be remembering the .vim directory. We will go there. We can see there are two directories now. There was just one autoload. Now this plugged one got created due to Vim-plug, I think. Yes, let's go to that plugged one, and we can see the what do we say, the, we use git clone, right? It is kind of git cloning these repositories into this particular directory that we have. We have used these plugins, these git, their repositories have been cloned here, something like that. So we'll move into coc.nvim, and we can see similar structure. So what we are going to do here is, we are going to do, first of all, we are going to install yarn. So for that, we are going to use sudo npm install yarn -g, and it is doing that for us. It's done. And then this message might be different for you, don't worry about that. And if it says something, some vulnerability, something like that, or just follow or look up on the internet, don't worry much. I mean, okay, very depending upon whatever message there is, you can search that up and rectify it. Now what we're going to do is yarn install, being in the plugged /coc.nvim directory, as can be seen. So it will take a little bit of time. Now do yarn install, and this message might not appear for you. Okay, so it's done for me now, and it might take a little bit more time for you, maybe. So what we are going to do is yarn build as well. And okay, so this is it. Let me go back to the home directory. Now if I do vimrc, we are not faced with any error message, and okay, so that should be it. Now it just doesn't work like that. I mean, if I just install coc.nvim, I am there, right? Okay, so what it does is, for example, this image, it is showing that a particular language is here, and it is trying to autocomplete, or to give the, I mean, it is trying to autocomplete and give some hints, not hints, whatever that is, detect what the next thing is going to be inserted and stuff like that. I mean, a basic autocomplete thing. So it's not just going to directly do it for any language, and it does it for any language. For any particular language, you have to use their language servers. For example, Jedi for Python. So now I'm going to show you how to set up the auto completion for Python and maybe for C and C++ as well. So I mean, there are many difficult ones, different ones out there, but I think these might work. First of all, let's go to the MRC here, and there's a command coc install. This one, CocInstall, being case sensitive. Every command is case sensitive. This language, okay, case sensitive. So if I do CocInstall and coc dash Jedi, if I do this, I believe this is it. So it is trying to install that thing, whatever whatever I told it to, and a tick mark. It might not be there for you if you don't have, what do you say? Okay. If you don't have that, what was that? Nerd font. Yeah. Let me quit out of here. /u. And since it says that Jedi has been installed, let's test it on a Vim file. For example, let me go and do, for example, import URL lib. Okay, wait a minute. It seems not to be working right now. Maybe I'll have to restart. Okay, let me send this to there, this to there. Okay, so I'm going to the VimRC once again, and wait a minute. If you have to, for example, I'll show you whether it worked or not, the coc-Jedi, but I also wanted to tell you this. If you have to uninstall a particular coc language thing that you have installed, you can uninstall it using this coc uninstall, and then the name. For example, we have just installed Jedi. Okay, I have also installed maybe clang d. Okay, so what do we have to do now is okay, one more thing dot c. Now if you want to get rid of a particular plugin, for example, all that you have to do is, for example, I want to remove this comment plugin. I can either comment this line or totally remove this line by right and quit, go in there, and if I do PlugClean, so it will search for whatever I have removed and will ask whether I want to delete it or not. And if I do a Y, it will delete it for me. I'll do an N right now. So delete the lines. Okay, I'll just quit and I'll uncomment this line with GCC, for example, GCC, and then let's right and quit. Let me do a PlugInstall once again just to make sure that the thing is there. Okay, it says already finished. Okay, so that Jedi thing, just maybe I'll have to do a pip install for the Jedi language server as well. Let's give it a last. Okay, it's working now. I don't have to. Maybe I don't have to. Just check. Okay, so it's working. It detected URL lib. Now what I was trying to say. Okay, if I do URL lib and I hit enter, I'm using arrow key to navigate. It's telling me about it as well, and I hit enter. Input URL lib dot, for example, there is a request request. So for example, let me show something. When I do re, so what you expect is generally when you hit tab, it should move to the next option and stuff like that, or maybe it auto completes the thing, but it is not doing that right now. So for that I found a particular, there's a plugin also, but I found a particular a piece of code written in Vim script maybe, uh, that helps to, and that helps to achieve that same function. I searched, looked that up on what is it's called Reddit. So as you can see, that thing is working. For example, if I do class, it's giving me, let me go give it a name. For example, let's create a class robot. Let's give it an initializer constructor and just pass stuff like that. Maybe let's give a comment. You can see, okay. Like for example, I do object initialized and then just create a, for example, robot. It's giving me the, now if I do so it's helping me to autocomplete stuff, right? And it says object initialized when I initialized one object, right? It was just an example. It doesn't matter if you know Python or not. I'm just saying that the auto completion is working for Python. And now what we're going to do is we are going to implement the same thing for C and C++ as well. So you might have seen me, I have installed clang-d as well. CocInstall clang-d. If I do that, CocInstall coc dash clang-d. Sorry. If I do this, coc dash CocInstall dash clang-d. What was it? I forget the name. Okay, it is clang-d. If I do this, it is installing it. COC, it should work for you. I have actually installed it. There might be some error, but it worked earlier, so it should work for you as well. All you have to do is okay, I'll come up with a follow-up video on how to do that. So I was talking about using tabs for auto completion. So for that, let me show you this thing, not this thing. Let me go to the history, this one. Let's open that up. So a person is asking for tab for the auto completion and stuff. People are referring some, what do you say, plugins and stuff. This person actually just wrote a code for that. So what we're going to do is we are going to copy that code. Okay, wait, copy this particular, I just copied it, and then let's go to the vimrc. Let me, okay, for copying a particular line, the whole line, you can use -yy. You can learn that easily in the Vim tutor. You do pp to paste that. Sorry, just p. Now I can paste those lines that I just copied. Yeah, here. Okay, so now the tab auto completion should work. Let's see if it does or not. Okay, I shouldn't have deleted that. If I do for example, not hash, let's import, for example, dot. So I have what assigned less memory. I mean, okay, I'm hitting tab and it's moving up and down. I mean, it's going through the options I have, so it's good. And if I do url lib.req and then tab, so that's working. So tab is working for auto completion as well. Let me just quit and not say this. So that is done. And Okay, so vim dash. So okay, so we have. Is there any other plugin left? Okay, yeah, this one, right? Mm, this is Emmet plugin. You might have heard about Emmet if you have used VS Code. That is generally used for web development purposes. This plugin is used for generally web development purposes. So what I'll do is I'll do this thing, web development, and try to see what was the problem with that coc dash clang for the auto completion of C and C++ in the next video. So for this video, I will conclude it here, and I'll say thank you for watching.